Hello, and welcome to the Author Roundup, a special segment of the Book Connection Show where we meet up and coming indie authors and talk to them about their recently released books. Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny, and I'll be your host for today's episode of Author Roundup. Join me as we talk to the creator of the Code Z book series, which is all about how the Kawasaki Superbikes appeared on the world stage. A German citizen and a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer, he retired in 2014 after he was made redundant. He began to search for new fields of activity, and writing books seemed to be a good idea. Having owned many of the described motorcycles, and always wanting to remember the exciting 1970s and 1980s as a motorcyclist, the Kawasaki Superbikes offered itself as the best topic. So, to our viewers and listeners, let's all welcome Stefan R, the author of Kawasaki Superbikes Z900. Hi, Stefan. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Jenny, for having me. Good evening, and good evening, all viewers.
So this is the second time I get to talk to Stefan about his book. The first one was Kawasaki Superbikes 900 Super 4 Z1. And I'm happy to have the chance to talk to you again, this time about another book in the Kawasaki Superbikes series, Kawasaki Superbikes Z900. Right. So Stefan, tell us about your recently published book.
It's the Z900, basically the end of the 903 cubic centimeter engine. So Kawasaki decided to fill the rest and make it 1 liter in the following years. So basically, the Z900 is a endpoint for an era.
I see. So, Stefan, in our previous interview, you said that you have owned a few of the bikes, right? The
Yes.
Kawasaki Superbikes. So, have you always been interested in motorcycles? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, very early during my training for the driver license, we had a Kawasaki dealer in our town. And always when I looked in the display, I saw the motorcycles. I was basically attracted from Kawasaki's design. Yeah, it is different to Honda and Suzuki. And for me was clear it will be Kawasaki. Yeah, I'm
What
a Kawasaki supporter.
I see. So, exactly what is it about Kawasaki that made it different from the other brands?
Yeah, later I found out the engineers call it the triple S styling concept. So they call it slim, sleek, and sexy. So basically, from the front, the lines, yeah, are smooth, and they follow a certain line. And yeah, I can confirm it. I found it very attractive, the design, yeah, and the seat position, yeah, very high handlebar and a
Mm-hmm.
powerful engine.
Okay. Do you still remember when or how old were you when you owned your first Kawasaki?
Yeah, I basically bought it when I was 17 years old, and in Germany you have to be 18. So basically, I had to wait 4 weeks until I can take it over. And on that particular day, there was freezing cold. It was winter, December, and I didn't care about the temperature, but I took it for a ride, and it confirmed I was on the right track.
And you've been in love with motorcycles ever since, specifically Kawasaki motorcycles. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, that must
definitely. Yeah.
that must have been I mean, very exciting for you when you were just very young and you finally got to own your first motorcycle. So going back to the books, how many books are there in the series? And how different is Z900 from the other books?
Yeah, I have finished 5 books so far, basically published,
Mhm.
and 2 more in the row. One more is ready for being published, and the other one is about 75% finished. And they all cover basically a time frame of 2 years. So Kawasaki changed every 2 years something major. However, the parts overlapped. So you find parts from older motorcycles and new models. Yeah, and this is a normal thing. So there's a smooth transition, and this is what Kawasaki did every 2 years, basically.
I see. So the books in your series would talk about different models, right? So
Yes.
I can just imagine how extensive the research was into each of these books. Can you tell us more about that, Stefan?
Yeah, when you write a book like my books, yeah, you need to know basically every detail. So it is very good when you can explain every part. So you dive very deep into the technical part, and there is no way around. You have to be able to explain it, why it's there, what it does. Yeah, there is no way around.
I
Mm.
see. So when you were writing your book, so each book is focused on a specific model, right? Tell us about how you conceptualize the book, like how you decided to come up with perhaps the outline for the book or the way you would present the information that you want to put in the book.
Yeah, at the beginning, before I even started, I made a plan. So I thought about the interior, how I will build up the pages and chapters and so on. Then I thought about the colors. And my goal was not to copy Kawasaki's design. So I thought about an own design, own letters, and so on. So on key pages, I don't use Kawasaki's design. Yeah, when you look around my book, yeah, it is not Kawasaki, it is my design. However, I have the permission to use the wording and so on. However, in the inside of the book, apparently I dive very deep into Kawasaki's design. I use photos, yeah, and however, the start was a plan, yeah, with a structure, and this structure is it applies to every book.
I see. So with that kind of research and the planning and the outline and all that with the information, since I know this is a very technical book, how long did it take you to complete this book, Z900?
Yeah, it's about 9 months. However, during my research, I always see other parts which I discover and I use them for next projects. So it's a little bit overlapping. And sometimes I prepare stuff for a next book. Yeah. And I would say 9 months, it takes 9 months to prepare about, yeah, 480 pages.
And that's just to prepare the manuscript. So does that already include like, working with your publisher or not yet? Is that just preparing the manuscript and the pictures that you want to use?
Yeah, it excludes basically all the marketing and talking to the publisher. It's the network on the book. It's
Mm.
very time consuming to create these drawings, always thinking from the point of a customer. How would a customer look at the bike, open a cover, and what will be the questions? Yeah, and this
Mhm.
is what drives me forward through the book.
Yeah. So your book anticipates the questions that the readers may have about the motorcycles.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
And this is what I described right at the beginning. I have always the top view of a motorcycle, and then I describe the way around the motorcycle, in which direction. So I don't follow Kawasaki's structure or other people's structure. So I develop my own structure. When you walk around the bike, you see covers, you take it off and back on, and what precautions you need to know. For example, some containers contain pressurized fluids, yeah, and
Mhm.
others are very delicate. They are plastic, yeah. So this is very important to describe what to take into account before you start and take something off. Yeah, safety is a very important item.
I see. So it's not your typical way of presenting a very technical subject in the books. Like you've said, you have a different way of presenting the information that you would like to share in the book.
Yeah, it is basically, I think, what questions could be originating from a reader of the book? What would be the interest? And so I found out in conversations with many people, they are interested in the markings. So they are a lot of unknown markings on parts and the shape of parts. And it's unbelievable the amount of information which is included. And this drives me forward. So I always try to put myself in the position of a reader.
Okay, so you talk about the readers, and you said that you try to anticipate their questions about
Yes.
motorcycles, right? So who do you think will enjoy reading your book most, and how will it benefit them? How will your book benefit the readers?
Yeah, so basically, there is a group around my age. They apparently lived through this time and
Mhm.
probably had motorcycles of this type. And also other people who are interested in the beauty of engineering. I show not only how a part works, I show the beauty of engineering. And this is why I take a lot of time to show details in these parts. And yeah, so basically everyone who's interested in technology and in beautiful, colorful drawings.
Mhm. I see. So you said that there are few or there are a lot of motorcycle enthusiasts around your age, but I'm just interested, have you come across like motorcycle enthusiasts from the younger generation as well who are interested in Kawasaki?
Yeah, there is definitely. I had a lot of conversations. However, the younger the people get, the more they are
Mhm.
interested in speed and less in servicing, maintenance, and so on. So there is a deterioration of maintenance. So the younger the people are, the more I have to highlight dangers and servicing parts.
Mhm.
You have to service the chain. If you don't do it, I can hear it when a bike passes. There is a dry chain. I can hear it. It rattles. So from just the noise of a motorcycle, I can tell there is a lot of misfiring. Yeah, and the chain is dry. And the riders should be the younger riders should pay more attention to maintenance. And this is a typical item of older people. They are very, very particular in what they are doing. And I still learn from people around my age. Yeah, you
Mhm.
never stop learning. Yeah.
Mhm. That's great. So, going back to your experience as the author of the books in the series, tell us about the challenges that you've had while you were writing your books.
Yeah, there is one unknown part. It's you need the permission when you use photos, for example.
Mhm.
So a lot of my time I used contacting people and asked for permission. And I asked more questions because you never know. The legal part is very important. The property of technology, the property of design. And
Mhm.
so this is a very positive part of my work because recently I contacted Graham, the racer from New Zealand, yeah, and he is even a member of the Hall of Fame, yeah, and
Mm.
he was happy to help me out, and this made me very proud, yeah.
Okay, so you, along with when you were writing your book, you got to talk to other writers as well.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
Graham Grosby, excuse me, and Greg Fetter in America, he
Mhm.
designed the fairings, so aftermarking parts when people want to transfer their motorcycle into a touring machine. This is Greg Fetter's part, and this is what I do. I contact these people, ask for permission, and usually there is a conversation starting, and this is a positive part of my work. Yeah, to
Mhm.
contact people and ask. And also owners of photographs. When you look at eBay, they want to sell their motorcycle. When you ask for permission, yeah, they are very surprised because not many people ask. They just take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, I mentioned these people. They are underneath the picture. It is noted. And so in the back, there is a list. And this is a very positive part of my work to talk to people.
Mhm. That must have been exciting at the same time, time consuming and challenging since you have to talk
Yes.
to a lot of people, ask them for permissions, and probably give them an idea of how you're going to be using the photographs or, you know,
Yes.
yeah. So, do you have a count of how many images or pictures you have in this book, the Z900?
Yeah, about 370 images,
Wow.
and the rest is
Mhm.
text or tables. Yeah.
Mhm.
So a lot of drawings.
I
Yeah.
see. So the drawings are your own, or are they taken from, Kawasaki or a few other
No,
experts, perhaps?
I would say 90% to 95% is my own invention, basically. I mean, I
Mhm.
use the brochures of Kawasaki to get technical information. However, often you have a discrepancy between the maintenance manuals, the parts manuals, and so on. because when Kawasaki sells bikes and has a brochure, the data comes from test rides. So
Mhm.
I have to make sure I get the most realistic value, which I
Mhm.
get from magazines who do road tests. Yeah. So I
Mhm.
read through, and this is where I get my information from old magazines, PDF files. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I would say 95% is my own invention. I put it in a nice large letter text so everyone can read it very easily without many, so a lot of light. Yeah, it's very relaxing to read it. So my goal is not to take too much from others, copy and paste it in. Yeah,
Mhm.
it is, yeah, it's a new approach.
Okay, so it's really a labor of love from you. So,
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
so tell us, Stefan, what more can we expect from the Kawasaki Superbike series?
Yeah, we'll delve into the 1980s models. We have the turbo model. This is one of my favorites, 750 turbo. So after the introduction of the superbikes of the 1970s to 80s, I will have the next following models. So very popular Z1000 or 700 turbos. Yeah, and this is my next challenge. And also a 1300 six-cylinder model is on
Mhm.
my list.
So, around how many books are we expecting? So, right now, how many books are out in the market, Stefan?
Yeah, seven almost finished. So this number seven is almost finished. And then my idea is to finish one per year. So this is a good time frame to slow a little bit down. Yeah, I have a lot of experience now, and this helps me to slow down a little bit, one per year. And this is open end. Yeah, you have so many types. I estimate I will at least in the next 5 to 10 years have make 20, the number of 20 full.
Wow, I see. So that's a lot.
Yes.
Okay, so right now, how many books do you have out again?
Yeah.
You already have two out for this year, right?
Yes, with John, I published two, so we made five complete. They are on my webpage.
Mm-hmm.
Number six is ready, waiting. It
Mm-hmm.
is fully
Okay.
written and needs to be assessed by ex-libris. And number seven is about 75% finished. So I estimate in about 6 weeks it will be ready. And this will be number seven. And afterwards, I straight dive into number eight. Yeah.
Okay, so that must take a lot of discipline on your part, like writing at the same time, promoting your book, or
Yes.
yeah. So how do you do it? How do you balance your
Yeah.
time between working on the books that are already out in the market,
Yeah.
promoting them and all that, and at the same time working on the new books?
Yeah, it's a lot of discipline required. You need wake your mind and move yourself in the position which is suitable to write and to draw. And your hands need ready to do the drawings. I draw with the mouse a lot.
Mhm.
And yeah, so sometimes I'm surprised myself where I take the time because when I was younger, I didn't have the patience. However, now I have the patience. I can do 6, 8, 10 hours per day, yeah, every day. And I consider it also therapy. It keeps me from doing wrong things. I'm on a good way for life. Yeah. So I build my schedule into a good way here to be a good example for my children. I want to show how you can even create your older life and make it good and happy. Yeah, your older years, so from 60 onwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's a very productive way to spend your retirement years.
Yes, and this is one of my basically points, yeah, which makes me different because not many people have this patience, yeah, and you have over years to maintain the same amount of quality. So every book needs to have the same quality. Yeah, basically I can say my German background makes it probably easier, yeah, because I
Mhm.
was raised, yeah, in disciplined, yeah, on the right track. I did military service. So yeah, this basically prepared me for my later years to write about what I did for many decades practically, so repairing aircraft or motorcycle, and now I'm ready to write. So it's a decade-long procedure to prepare yourself and your mind.
Yes. So that's amazing. And it I admire you so much for having the dedication and the focus on working on books that are, very technical, because I can just
Yeah.
imagine the amount of work that you have to pour into these books. So I'm sure there are a lot of people who are interested to know what's going on, like what can they expect from you and all that. What is your final message to our viewers and our listeners?
Yeah, there is an email account in the front of the book. So whenever you have any questions, feel free to talk. Or when you are here in the in near Queensland, yeah, drop in for coffee. So I invite people for coffee and a chat and so on. Often we talk about family and so on. Yeah, so it develops in a very good experience. And this is my message. When you have questions, ask me. Yeah, send me an email, yeah, or call my number, and I'm always happy to talk, yeah, and to interrupt my work. Yeah, I can always stop and talk. This is basically one of my favorite points. Yeah, when I have visitors and can talk to people in person and
Do you enjoy?
spread this. Yeah,
Mhm.
and spread this because it might give other people an outlook in their later years when depression kicks in, you feel lonely, and you can be very creative. Even when you are not so physically active, yeah, you can do writing. Yeah, this is one option for later life.
Yes. So perhaps you can invite our viewers and listeners to check out your website or your social media accounts.
Yes, it is www.codezsuperbikes.com. So code Z Superbikes in one word. And then you will find the books, you find links. And so if you allow me, I show one of my books. This is the
Sure.
C900.
Mhm.
Yeah, see, and the pages are always built up the same way. So yeah, I have text pages here. So you have images with information about the engine. Yeah. And so this is, for example, in this book, I show the tools of this particular motorcycle and also later and newer tools. And at the end, there is an image, so a gallery of images where I asked people for permission. They sold motorcycles and they gave me the permission to use their images. Yeah. And this is basically a snapshot through my book. And at the end of the C900, I have a 900 LTD, yeah, famous motorcycle, was only built for 1 year.
Mm,
And this particular motorcycle was built to be an opponent to Harley Davidson. Yeah,
mm,
it's basically a chopper with four-cylinder engine and had many friends. Yeah, so it was a new way, and they were very successful with this cruiser. Yeah, yeah, and also the manuals are part, and the images are always very large. So when you look closely, you can even see details, very detailed images. Yeah,
mm,
and this is the back. Yeah, the story about me, the story about the particular book,
mhm,
and this is here the back of the book. Yeah, and they all look the same when you put them in the shelf. It looks very neat. Yeah, yeah,
mhm.
and this is my trademark. Yeah, code Z, secured in Australia. So it's a registered trademark.
I see. So I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of collectors, motorcycle enthusiasts would be very interested to get a copy of your book. So you can invite them to purchase your book as well, Stefan?
Yeah, there is a particular group which I target, the collectors and restorers,
Mhm.
because little details can make your bike, you can double the price. Yeah, with little details, because many people see these details. There are markings, and we have very well reproduced new parts. However, they are not original. Yeah, you see the difference, and they make a bike less valuable. When someone wants to create a real value, you find it here, the difference and what makes the difference. What are these new old stock parts? Yeah, they
Mhm.
sometimes lay in a shelf for decades and they are original Kawasaki parts. And I tell you how to recognize these parts.
I see. So,
Mm.
Stefan, they can get a copy of your book Kawasaki Superbikes Z900. It's
Yes,
available in Ex Libris online bookstore and
yes.
also Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. And the one you're holding there is, I understand, a hardcover, right?
Yeah, that's a hardcover. Yeah,
Mhm.
they are very heavy, these books. So I just feel, yeah, it's very heavy to show this book. It's a large book. Yeah, you see, it's, yeah, 2 kilograms. Yeah,
Yeah, because it's very detailed and very informative. That's why.
yeah,
So I'm
yes,
sure a lot of, like you said, restorers, motorcycle enthusiasts, collectors would find the information there very useful to them. Okay, so it's available in hardcover, in paperback. And
yes,
for those who would prefer the digital copy, you also have it available as an ebook, right?
correct. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, is there anything else you want to say, your parting message to our viewers and our listeners?
Yeah, maybe when someone develops the idea to write books, it is always a good idea when you start to describe yourself, the characters. You can make a drawing of buildings and the area where you write about. It helps you to, yeah, think into the scenery of your book. So a plan is always a good idea. Without a plan, I would say it is very difficult to keep everything in mind. When you have a template, this is very helpful. Write about the characters, every individual. So that is very helpful.
Okay. Thank you so much for the advice, Stefan, and the very informative and very interesting talk about your book, Kawasaki Superbikes Z900. So, and we invite everyone to get a copy again of Stefan's book. It's available in Ex Libris online bookstore, Amazon.com, and also BarnesandNoble.com and other online resellers. It's available as a paperback, a hardcover, and an ebook for those who prefer digital copies. Okay, so thank
Yes.
you so much, Stefan, and to all our viewers and listeners. Thank you so much for joining us today. Until the next episode of Author Roundup.